welcome to All Things Moore County, Moore County's weekly radio show highlighting the many facets of the Sandhills. That includes real estate, lifestyle, community and neighborhoods. And now from 4 Properties, here's your host, Bill Sahadi.
Good morning. Welcome to the talk show, All Things Moore County. Dorothy, this is 11 years and running as we approach
Who'd have thought you'd have made it this far?
Christmas week.
Yes, it is.
This Christmas is
unlike any other.
Yeah, it's significantly different. Way back in March, we had...
It seems so long ago, March.
I know. We had business people on.
Yep.
We spoke to entrepreneurs. We talked about how people were accommodating to the pandemic. We've just gone through Thanksgiving, and again, there's so much noise on the airwaves and information and misinformation. This is an unusual Christmas, but it is Christmas week.
It is.
And it's a time for reflection.
Yes.
It's a time to take stock. And I think we're all humbled a little bit by what's going on, and we're all hopeful and optimistic about what 2021 will look like.
Yeah, I think everybody's hoping for a clean slate coming 2021.
Oh, I mean, the airwaves have just been like Advil laced. I mean,
yes.
Too much information, and the politics and people trying to earn a living and keep things together. We have a very large baby boom generation in Moore County.
Yes, we do.
We have a very vibrant group of individuals who we all look in the mirror and we all think we're 35 still. And we act like we are.
I won't disagree with that.
And we just don't understand these younger generations. Like our parents didn't understand us, and we thought, we grew up in the age when you wouldn't trust anybody over the age of 30. Oh my gosh, give me a break.
You can't do that.
We think today we're the coolest generation going.
Yep.
And not everybody agrees with that assessment.
I do.
I do too. And my guest does as well. And I have Flint Long, who is with us today. Flint is a peer of mine. He's lived in the Sandhills since 2014. He is been a professional musician, writer, entertainer. And one of the things about 2020 that has struck me, and we've kind of alluded to this, retailers have had a very tough go of it.
Very tough.
Restaurant owners, a very tough go of it. Musicians have been asked to think outside the box in a way they never had to before. And I remember as a kid growing up, my mom used to always say to me, necessity is the mother of invention.
Yes, it is.
And I would always roll my eyes because I didn't know what it meant.
Now you know Mom was right, don't you?
Mom was always right. And I can say that now in hindsight. She was always right. Poor thing, she had to put up with me. But necessity is the mother of invention.
Yes.
So what has happened this year? People have gone to Zoom. They've gone to YouTube. They've done some montages of these beautiful choral arrangements. People who are active in music need to stay. Their creative juices need to be flowing.
Yeah.
So we get to take part and watch and witness some of these songs and these choral arrangements. Flint performed one. We're going to talk about it, but we want to talk to him about himself as well. And we're going to feature his song called We'll Find a Way during the show, as well as one or two others.
Okay.
With that, Flint, I want to say good morning and thanks for coming in and joining us.
Oh, hi, Bill. It's great to be here. Thanks for having me.
Your timing was prophetic. I listened. You reached out to me, and you sent me this arrangement, and you featured a lot of local singers. And I don't know if you had 15 or 20 people involved in the project.
Yeah.
But I listened to the song, and I heard an anthem. I heard a song of reflection, a song of perspective, and it was reinforced by the age group of the performers, because they were all, I guess, no, that's not true. Most of them were part of the baby boom generation.
Yeah.
Tell me about the song first, and its origins, and how it got to be now on YouTube.
Well, the song is actually 30 years old, and it was originally used by PBS as a documentary, as the theme to a documentary about kids getting off of drugs.
Is that right?
Yeah. And we'll find a way. The message was that these kids will find a way, come hell or high water, if they're determined and if they follow
Huh.
And so that was wonderful, but I put it on a shelf for about 30 years. And then during the pandemic, my wife and I were home a lot, so I was making a lot of music, and I brought that off the shelf, pardon me, and sang it for her. And she said, man, that song, the words apply to what's going on today.
Right.
Especially to that baby boomer generation of which I'm a member.
Right.
And so she said, you ought to do something with it. So I had seen these virtual choirs on YouTube. I think they're getting more and more prevalent. Probably all your listeners have seen them.
They have, yeah.
And so I wanted to do one, but I didn't know how to do it. But I said, that's the song to do it with.
Uh-huh.
So ultimately we did that, but I had to reach out to a number of knowledgeable friends to help me, with the technical part.
Are you active today in your business? Are you retired? What's your status?
Well, I have a YouTube channel where I teach boogie woogie.
Okay.
And because, I play all styles of music, including classical on the piano. But boogie woogie's popular. There's kind of a cult following of people that are devoted to that. It's very popular on the internet.
Right.
So that's what I'm doing. And let's see, I stopped doing cruise ships. I used to be a headliner on cruise ships, but we stopped that in '06. And I would like to tour again, but I think my wife said, we've done enough, 30 years of it.
But it keeps you young.
It does.
Right? Keeps
Yeah.
you on your toes.
Well, it keeps me always looking forward to the next project. This was a it was a great adventure, and it was really neat for the local people involved, too. Most of those gals that you see on the choir are members of the group Friends in Harmony.
Right.
And Helen Scalacci was responsible for roping in all her friends in that group, and they did a great job.
What do the logistics look like to put something like that together? Because when you go to the YouTube channel and you type in your name or you type in the song, you see a screen with maybe 15 or 18 individuals all participating. So you did this all with the social distancing, right? You did it all through the camera and the remote?
Yeah. That was exciting, too, because I had a singer on Long Island. I had a singer in Arizona, San Diego, Las Vegas, Florida. We had singers from all over.
So you recruited, and there were some here from Moore County as well, I believe.
Well, now, yeah, the whole choir is from Moore County.
Oh, okay.
The background choir.
Okay.
And then the soloists are old, dear friends of mine that go way, way back.
Right.
And they're the ones that are spread out. And that was really neat. I think a lot of more technically knowledgeable artists are maybe accustomed now to doing this long-distance remote stuff, but I was not. To me, it was extremely exciting. The soundtrack was done in Nashville.
Okay.
And all this, to have all these singers come together on the screen, to me, it was just, even now, it's very exciting.
What does it mean to you to hear the words that you wrote 30 years ago come to life today?
Well, Bill, I loved your remarks about it, and I've gotten nothing but really positive feedback about it. Actually, more positive feedback than I did when it was originally used for the television documentary. People say that these lyrics really address the pandemic and the whole climate in our country right now, around the world.
Right. I agree. When I listened to it, I did not know that it had to do with a PBS show that had to do with drugs for kids. The song is open to interpretation from a lot of different people based on the perspective with which they're listening. And I know when I was listening to it, I thought of Paul Anka. He wrote some memorable songs, My Way, Diana, but songs of a perspective from a vantage point where you're looking back, you're processing, and you're seeing the world today with a different set of eyes, and that's how I listen to it. That's what I heard.
Mm-hmm.
If somebody heard something about the pandemic, that talks a little bit about the universality of the words and how they resonate with people. People will it's like an anthem.
Mm-hmm. I love to hear it. Thank you. I'm honored to hear it.
Yeah.
Those words, and I wanted it to be optimistic 30 years ago as well as now. The last chorus or the last verse has, the thing's going to open up. We're going to have a solution. Things are going to work out in the end.
Right.
That's the message.
Right. How many years have you been in the music industry?
Oh, gee. 40.
Is that right?
Yeah, yeah.
Some of the highlights, some of the most memorable moments of your career?
Well, this might sound crazy. I mean, I've played on big stages and I've opened for big artists, but this might sound crazy, but one of the most wonderful experiences I've ever had is to play a duet with Ray Charles.
Really?
In the living room of his attorney at a private party.
Wow.
Yeah, because meeting Ray Charles was just, wow. That was, I think one of the high points of my entire life.
Who are some of the artists, well-known artists that you played with or appeared with?
Well, I was in the studio with Tina Turner. That was really neat. She's a great lady too.
Huh.
I'd love to get in contact with her again. And Al Martino.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Not everybody would know who that is. Baby boomers would.
Yeah, he might be from your neck of the woods.
New York?
Yeah.
New Jersey?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But, I've worked and, I've done a few things over the years, and then being a headliner on cruise ships was wonderful because my wife and I went everywhere. And
yeah.
And it's a floating hotel, so you're living first class and you just got to go downstairs and work. It's great.
Yeah. If it's okay with you, I'd like to play at least the audio portion of the song We'll Find a Way, and have you comment. We'll let our listeners listen to it.
Okay.
Does that sound good? Dorothy, can we do that?
We can do that. Give me just one moment. Here it comes.
You can take all the time you want. You've earned it.
Oh, thanks.
We'll find a way. We'll keep our dreams alive along the way. We'll learn how to survive another day. And we will pray. We'll find a way. a way.
We'll find a way to keep our dreams alive along the way. We'll learn how to survive another day, and we will pray. We'll find a way.
That's We'll Find a Way, and I have to tell you, while we were playing the song, I enjoyed watching you listen to it. I wish people could see that.
Well, I've heard it 500 times, but I still listen to every detail, and it still really gets to me. There were a lot of talented people involved.
Yeah. Just listening to it today, after listening to it a few times prior to meeting you and talking to you, I can now understand why it applied to the show, the PBS show, 30 years ago. I didn't hear it that way when I first heard it. But I think that it's the fact that people can hear the song differently and make it and have it mean something to them is why certain songwriters can be very successful, because it's not just about them. It's about a generation, and you capture it's not self-indulgent, I guess.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Sometimes singers will be too self-indulgent, and so it won't resonate as much. Is that fair?
Yeah, I agree with you. I think the Beatles had that knack with a lot of their stuff, maybe not all of it, but
Yeah.
it was open to different individual subjective interpretation.
Exactly.
Pardon me.
So you had a fraternity and a sorority of people, stablemates, that you have a history with, that you were able to get together and put this together today for posterity's sake.
Yeah, it was just a totally fun project. It was, it was frustrating and hard sometimes, but my wife pushed me forward too with it, because originally people said, well, you sing the whole song yourself and just have the
Right.
Friends in Harmony back you up.
Right.
And I thought, no, this is my chance to get a hold of different people. And if your listeners will go to it, it's Flint Long Virtual Choir on YouTube. They'll see my friend Beth Lawrence, for example. Beth and I performed together when we were 13 at an Elks Club dinner
Wow.
in California.
Wow.
And she's on the video. At the end, she just really delivers the goods. She opened for Don Rickles for 20 years.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Love Don Rickles.
Yeah, and then Thelma Jones is on there. She was a soul artist in the 70s. She was under contract to Columbia, and she recorded a song that Aretha Franklin ultimately picked up on. So Thelma, we've worked together in Las Vegas. Thelma's on there. It's just great, because a lot of us were kind of housebound, and we're older now, so we're not touring like we used to. And
Right.
these singers, friends of mine, Bill, needed a project that they could get their teeth into.
Right.
And so it was rewarding for them too. I don't want to ramble on too
No.
much, but can I talk about the music track itself?
Let's do that. Let's come back in the second set and open with talking about the music track. Our guest is Flint Long. This is All Things Moore County. We'll be right back.
We'll learn how to survive another day, and we will pray. We'll find a way.
It seemed like things would never be alright. If I could find one reason to
Welcome back to All Things Moore County. Our guest is Flint Long, the writer of the song that you will hear on the bumper music coming in and out of each set. Flint, when we were closing out the first set, you were talking a little bit about the music track. Tell me about it.
Well, that was really a rewarding experience working with Kent Goodson up in Nashville, remotely, of course, from my home in Pinehurst.
Right.
So Kent is he's a talented record producer, and Bobby Bear is working with him. But among a lot of other people at his studio, Digitrax in Nashville. But he's a piano player like me.
Okay.
And he was with George Jones for 29 years until George passed.
Oh, wow.
So, boy, Kent's got a lot of stories to tell, too. But we're on the same page because we both play piano. So I met him because I tracked him down. I liked his work on some of these records I had heard. And so I called him and I said, I want to do some project. We backed a singer named Yvonne Morrow, who just passed recently, unfortunately. But we'd worked together on a couple of projects, me and Kent, and then so I called him on this, and I said, look, I've laid this track on guitar. I'm not really a guitarist, but I've laid this track of We'll Find a Way. I want to do a remake of the song We'll Find a Way. He said, well, send me the track. So I emailed him the track. He said, well, we can use this. We'll use this as the basis. I'll correct your guitar mistakes and we'll fix it up. And if we'll use that as the basis for this track. So that guitar track that I made at home is the backbone of the track that everybody's listening to right now.
The technology is crazy.
It's amazing. But Kent Goodson is a genius because we worked it all out, the cello part, the violin parts, and I wrote the parts. But and that's fun because to be kind of an arranger, just on the music alone. Yeah. And then when you add the singers. Yeah.
It all comes together.
Yeah.
You've been in Moore County now since 2014?
Yeah.
What brought you here?
Well, my wife's son is retired military in Fayetteville, and he said, I've got the perfect place. When we would come for visits a couple times a year maybe, and he said, I've got the perfect place for y'all to, spend the fourth quarter. Yeah. And so when I first saw it, I said, well, I don't know. I'm not a golfer really, and I'm not a horse person. Maybe we wouldn't fit in. But the more we came, the more we decided this is it. And we've been all over the world.
Really?
And let me tell you, this is the most beautiful place on earth, I believe.
The quality of life here is second to none.
Second to none.
Right. How would you like to be up in Michigan or New York or Pennsylvania after all the snow this week?
We're so blessed to be here.
We're just stuck with torrential rains, and it's 50 degrees today. I mean, it's for so many reasons. Moore County is a great place to live.
Oh yeah.
While you've been here, you've also performed at the Moore County Senior Enrichment Center.
Yeah.
It's not just that you play piano and sing. You also you ad-lib, you're glib. The pilot did an article on you, called you the entertainer back in December of last year. Mm-hmm. How long have you been over at the Moore County Senior Enrichment Center?
Well, when we first were staying here all the time, because we were back and forth for a few years, but when we started living here, I wanted to spread out. So I went down to the senior center and, I was looking for some fans, and I got to look where the people are older,
Right.
And so I went and introduced myself, and she said, well, Lynn Drinkwater over there is just terrific. Yeah. And she said, we have this piano group that meets on Wednesdays, and they need a kind of a leader. So, kind of a teacher, moderator type thing. Sure. And so I took over that position when Bob Lewis left, and just a great bunch of piano players would gather on Wednesdays at 11. I hope we can start doing that again at the Senior Center. Mm-hmm. And from that, I met a lot of people.
Yeah. Living here for 6 years now, as you have, it's amazing how quickly you can become part of the community and how easy it is to meet people and how it mushrooms so quickly.
It's just a welcoming community, isn't it?
We always say on this show that 2 years here is a lifetime, that you could not approximate in a larger urban area, just because of the nature of the society here and the community, how close-knit it is. Yeah. And yeah, it's a great place to wake up every morning.
Yeah, it sure is.
One of the things that I admire about you is, and I think what probably has made you successful is how much you enjoy what you do, and that shows.
Yeah.
And even in the photographs in the pilot that I'm looking at, you thoroughly enjoy the engaging people with the music. It might be your love language, for lack of a better description.
That's a good way to put it.
Right?
Yeah.
And it comes out, it's natural.
Yeah, I think, when the good Lord made me, he made an entertainer.
Uh-huh.
And I like to reach out to people. That's my way of loving people, yeah.
We, when we started to communicate, and you had shared your YouTube video with me, I went back and turned around and shared one with you by a current group known as Maroon 5. And being where you are in the business now and looking back, it's got to give you some thrill to see the younger generation coming up. Way back in the 1980s, there was a choral arrangement done called "We Are the World," and at the time they recruited every major top recording artist, from Bruce Springsteen, Paul Simon, Diana Ross. Oh my gosh, there were so many entertainers.
Stevie Wonder. There was
Stevie Wonder, Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
And they did this video of this anthem, of this theme. And it was always memorable, and it still is to this day. And it is applicable today as much as ever. So I sent you this cover, I guess is what they call it, by the One Voice Children's Choir. I want you to hear it again and then comment on it, because it's so consistent with what We'll Find a Way does in terms of the way it resonates. So Dorothy, if we can play the cover by the One Voice Children's Choir called Memories.
Okay.
I'd love Clint to hear it and talk about it.
Okay, here we go.
Yep.
Here's to the ones that we got. Cheers to the wish you were here, but you're not. 'Cause the dreams bring back all the memories of everything we've been through.
Close to the ones here today, close to the ones that we lost on the way. 'Cause the dreams bring back all the memories, and the memories bring back you.
There's a time that I remember when I did not know no pain.
When I believed in forever and everything would stay the same.
Now my heart feel like December when somebody say your name.
'Cause I can't reach out to call you, but I know I will one day, yeah. Everybody hurts sometimes, everybody hurts someday, yeah. But everything will be alright. Go as your voice will say, hey.
Here's to the ones that we got. Cheers to the wish you were here, but you're not. 'Cause the dreams bring back all the memories of everything we've been through. Close to the ones here today, close to the ones that we lost on the way. 'Cause the dreams bring back all the memories, and the memories bring back you. Memories bring back you. There's a time that I remember when I never felt so lost.
When I felt that all the hatred was too powerful to stop. Now my heart feels like an ember, and it's lighting up the dark.
I'll carry these torches for you,
That you know I'll never drop, yeah.
Everybody hurts sometimes, everybody hurts someday, hey, hey.
But everything gon' be alright.
Go and raise your voice and say, hey.
Here's to the ones that we got. Cheers to the wish you were here, but you're not. 'Cause the dreams bring back all the memories of everything we've been through.
Close to the ones here today, close to the ones that we lost on the way. 'Cause the dreams bring back all the memories, and the memories bring back you.
Do, 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 do.
Thank you. That was Maroon 5. Their cover was performed by the One Voice Children's Choir. It was an ensemble of what looked like about 60 children. And you listen to that, and you have one thing in common with them, and that is
Youth.
And the fact that Memories was an interpretation of what Maroon 5 did. It's an anthem. It's going to mean to people what they hear based on where they're coming from in their lives, and everybody comes from a different place. But it's got to give you a sense of pride to know that your craft is handed down and you see the younger generation coming up. What do you think of the production?
I thought the production was excellent. On a scale from 1 to 10, it was a 10.
Is that right?
Oh, yeah. The musical arrangement and the production, the mix, everything was just fantastic. I loved the counterpoint and the harmony, and just all the poly voices. It was just incredible.
See, Dorothy, because of his background, how he listens to it is different than how I listen to it.
Yep.
I think very simply, good melody. I think that none of the notes go unaccounted for. They've got the lyrics and the music working together. But the way you hear it almost more like an engineer, an artistic engineer.
Yeah, I'm not an engineer, but I have an appreciation of the polyphony, and it sounds almost classical in some ways, doesn't it?
If you listen carefully, it's Pachelbel's canon.
What is it?
Pachelbel's canon, in D.
Yes, it is. It's kind of close to Pachelbel's canon.
You can hear that if you ignore the words and listen to the melody, it's Pachelbel's canon.
I'm lost. Please
Please
take over.
It resembles a classical piece.
A classical piece.
It does.
Yes.
Especially at the end, which we
Yes.
didn't play. It does. It is as a classical orientation. There was another group that did called Toto,
Yeah.
a song called Africa that they did, and many different choral ensembles took it on and did a cover of it. And the original songwriter said when he wrote the song, he never, ever, ever thought that anybody could ever take his work to such a much higher level. Music is a great way to communicate, isn't it?
Yeah, you're making me think that maybe those kids could sing my song.
I would.
Wow, and take it to the next level.
There you go. I mean,
Hey.
honestly, that was a well-oiled professional group and ensemble, and
Perfectly in tune.
well, that might be something you should present to them. If you go to YouTube and you pull them up, there are a couple of songs. "We Are the World" is one that they did, but none that was to me as effective as Maroon 5's "Memory."
Well,
Memories.
I saw it, and I thought it was second to none. I don't think those kids would have as much difficulty taking an iPhone and going someplace and filming themselves singing as my older crowd did. I want to tell you, it was just a bunch of them said, "Oh, I can't do this. I'm not technical enough." And sometimes they had to get their kid to do it. Their kids are like 40, and they have to do it. Film mom or dad or something on the. Well, I don't know. And then they had to send it. They had to send it to the videographer who happened to be in San Diego. So, I mean, we were working it was an uphill thing to get all these baby boomers to do the technical part of it.
Well, we're going to come back in the final set, and we're going to wrap up with Flint Long, who lives here in Pinehurst, has been a lifelong entertainer and musician, and has been good enough to not just share with us his video, "We'll Find a Way," but Clint also has a CD of Christmas favorites, which people can actually reach out to you and purchase.
Sure.
With a lot of the Christmas standards. This is All Things Moore County. We'll be right back.
And when it opens up before our eyes,
It probably will come as a surprise. Even now, as hope is drawing near.
we'll
Welcome back to our final set of All Things Moore County with Flint Long. We've talked a lot about his choral video, his CD, the roots that I guess he's sown here in Moore County over the last 6 years. Didn't take long, did it?
No.
6 years. You're now you're a Moore County native, right? You finished this this choral rendition in time for Christmas, and now you get to sit back and listen to it. And there are a lot of people that were involved in the project, many of whom are local, that you would like to thank as well.
Yeah, I want to thank the choir. It's comprised of 9 women from the Friends in Harmony. Helen Scalacci was responsible for putting that together, and Ruth Ann Porter, and many others. And so they're all local ladies, and they did just a great job. They really rehearsed hard. And the beautiful chorus, when it comes in, that's them.
Mm-hmm.
So I just wanted to thank them on the air one more time.
Yeah, and people can go to your YouTube channel, and they can actually see the video of the song as well.
Yeah.
And again, on your CD, when did you produce this?
That goes back a couple of years. You know, it's just piano.
Uh-huh.
But it's an hour of every Christmas song you can think of. There's just all kinds of...
And it's all piano?
Just straight piano, yeah.
But that's great. I mean...
Yeah, it's great for dinner or for, decorating the tree.
Background
that sort of thing,
music
yeah.
and all that good stuff.
Yeah.
40 years has given you a perspective, and I guess a question I have for you is, what do you see going forward for Flint Long the next couple of years musically?
I can't wait for this COVID to open up so that we can go back to live performing. I'm going to do shows at the Senior Center and all over Moore County if I can, and probably go up to Nashville and do some more recording with my friend Kent Goodson. And
Good.
I just can't wait to maybe tour a little bit if I can persuade my wife to go. I
Right.
wrote a country song called "Honey, I've Put the Band Back Together," and I'm not sure if my wife likes that song very much.
Oh, you're being serious?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't know if we're going to get it back on the road or not, but I'm definitely not hanging it up anytime soon.
I would advise you not to. You want to keep the candle lit and keep moving forward.
Oh, yeah. There's so many wonderful opportunities right here in Moore County to perform. And I wanted to do the Christmas tree lighting,
Right.
maybe next year.
Well, you talk about the pandemic, and you talk about we all feel the same way. We're all ready to get back together and try to get back to some sort of semblance with the vaccines now starting to be distributed. There's hope, and people way smarter than me and scientifically based are saying the fall of 2021 looks very promising. So it's something to look forward to. But this year, as we mentioned earlier, so many industries have been hurt so adversely by the pandemic. Not every industry, but here in Moore County, we have a preponderance of independent business owners, independent retailers, independent shopkeepers, and restaurant owners. And they have been hurt. And, the governors, not just the governor of North Carolina, but governors all over the country are having to deal with a situation that was not of their making. It was given to them, and they've had to react. And independent business people are obviously irate because of all the restrictions, but it didn't start at the state level. And but going into the last week of Christmas, and Dorothy, I know you'll agree with me, retailers have been hurt especially hard. Do you remember when we had Betsy Say from the Eloise Trading Company in downtown Aberdeen on the show back on March the 30th?
Yes, I do.
She was on with a couple of other retailers, and Jack Hayden, Purple Thistle Shop, Pink of the Pines.
Yep.
They've all had to pivot, and they've all had to accommodate, and they're trying to just keep themselves above water. And Christmas week is coming, so we encourage people to social distance, but go in, open up their eyes to
Everybody's had to kind of think outside the box and think creatively about how to keep going through all of this stuff and not let it overwhelm them.
And if people want to support their local retailers,
Which we strongly encourage supporting our local retailers.
you know, they don't even have to, if they don't want to physically go to the store, gift certificates can be done on the phone.
Yeah. And I'm pretty sure by this point in time, a lot of them at least have an idea of what they have in their shop online.
Yeah. We want all the businesses that have worked so hard to be viable this year. We want to see them in January
And
2021.
throughout 2021. We want to keep them going so we can talk about them again next Christmas to
Yeah.
say how they've survived 2021
Yeah,
and 2020.
Yeah, one of the most charming things about Moore County are all the downtown venues of all the towns: Pinehurst, Southern Pines, Aberdeen, Carthage is. Slowly but surely, you know, there are so many places to go of interest, and we want to keep everybody fully engaged. So our hats are off to the retailers. We hope they get through Christmas successfully, and we look forward to 2021. And I think we'll just close with that today.
Sounds good.
Yeah. So we'll wish everyone a Merry Christmas. Flint, thank you for coming in. It was a pleasure talking to you, talking music with you. And we will see you next week. This is All Things Moore County.
How to survive another day, and we will pray we'll find